Algebra Unit 6, Lesson 1. Solving systems of linear equations graphically. Notes and Video 1. A system of equations is a set of equations with the same variables. The solution to a system of linear equations is the point where the lines intersect. You could also say cross or meet. If a system is inconsistent, the lines are parallel, which means the lines will not touch, intersect, or cross ever, and there's therefore no solution. If a system is consistent, it has at least one solution. If a system is independent, it has exactly one solution. If a system is dependent, it has infinitely many solutions. A system of equations is said to have infinitely many solutions when the lines graphed are identical. So if you have a systems of equations problem, if you draw both lines, if they cross at one point, that is the solution. If two lines graphed are the exact same line, there is infinitely many solutions, as every point is touching or intersecting every point of the other line. Last choice, if you have two lines graphed and they are parallel, they will never cross, they will never intersect, therefore there is no solution. To solve a system of equations graphically, first rearrange the equations to be in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. So take a moment and write that down. Then find the slope m and the y-intercept b. So remember, we begin at the y-intercept and we move with the slope. Next, graph each line using that slope and y-intercept. Be sure to label each line. That's a quick way to lose points. Label each line. Lastly, state the solution as an ordered pair. All right, letter A. Solve the following systems graphically. Y equals negative x plus 8 and y equals 4x minus 7. So again, we need to look at this one at a time. I'm going to graph this first one first, and I'm going to try to color coordinate these for you. So again, we begin at the y-intercept. So I'm going to go to positive 8 on the y-axis. I'm then going to move with my slope. So my slope is negative x, or negative 1 over 1. So I'm going to go down 1 over 1. So once you connect your points, you should have a downward negative slope. Remember again, we have to label it. So just near it, I'm going to write y equals negative x plus 8. Okay, then for the second line, we're almost going to start over. We're going to ignore this line and start completely over. Y equals 4x minus 7. So again, I'm going to start or begin at the b y-intercept and move with the slope. So negative 7 will be my first point. And then I will move, or I'll rise and run 4 over 1. As a fraction, as 4 as a fraction is 4 over 1. So I'm going to go up 4 over 1, up 4 over 1, and repeat that until I have a nice long line. And again, then we're going to connect our dots with a ruler nice and straight, arrowheads on the end. After graphing that line, it's a positive slope, so it should be going up. We label it y equals 4x minus 7. Now I want you to circle the correct answer or the solution. So I'm going to find where the two lines cross, meet, or intersect, and circle it. Now we need to write our answer as an ordered pair. So that point, that solution is at 3, 5. So then our answer for this one, 3 is the x, 5 is the y. We must write it as an ordered pair in parentheses and circle our answer. So B, C, and D are all exactly alike. You're all doing the same thing, with the exception of we must again always make sure we're in slope-intercept form. So y equals mx plus b. So the next three, both equations are not in that format. So we go back to Unit 3 and go back and look over how we do that. We solve each one for y, and not a negative y, but a single positive y. Okay, letter B, y equals 3x plus 4. Again, that one's done easy, so maybe take a moment, pause the video, do this one by yourself. Begin with the y-intercept, move with the slope. When you're finished the first equation, you should have a positive slope that intersects the y-axis at 4. I'm going to go ahead and label my x and y-axis so I don't lose a point for that. Okay, the second equation is y minus 3x equals negative 3. Well, I'm going to start by moving that over to the side so I can show my work. This is not in slope-intercept form. Y is not alone. So this is the case where I'm going to drop the wall and solve. Well, I need y alone, so I'm going to go back to 6th grade and say, where's the variable? What's happening to it? Well, here's y. What's happening to it? It's being subtracted by 3x, so I must do the inverse operation and add 3x to both sides. Negative 3x plus 3x cancels, so I'm left with y equals, on the right-hand side, these are not like terms, so I cannot add them. So I'm left with a positive 3x minus 3. So then this is our equation in slope-intercept form that I can now graph. So I'll bring that over here again. I need to begin with the y-intercept of negative 3 and move with the slope of 3. So go ahead and do that one. Okay, when you finish graphing the second equation, you should have y equals 3x minus 3. And now if I look at those two lines, they're parallel. And one shortcut also is that if two lines have the same slope, positive 3, they're going to be parallel. These two lines, no matter what, will never cross, will never intersect, and will never meet. Therefore, there is no solution to this problem. Letter C and D, I want you to do on your own. Again, before you do anything, before you graph anything ever, it must be in slope-intercept form. So either change one of the equations or both so that it looks exactly like a positive 1y equals mx plus b. Good luck. At this time, take a moment, pause the video, and actually do problem C and D. I'm going to write down the answers for both of those. I'm not going to draw them or graph them. I'm just going to write the answers so that you can check them for your sake, and if you make a mistake, go back and check again. Again, you should be using a ruler, a pencil, every time you graph. So pause the video. When you press play, I'll have the answers displayed for you. Alright, on the back I want you to do E and F again on your own. Letter E, we need the first one, 2y equals 4x minus 10 to look like y equals. So you have to get rid of that 2. The second one's a little bit more complicated, but again, nothing you can't handle on your own. Take a moment, pause the video, do E and F. When you are ready, press play again and I'll have those answers displayed again for you. Hopefully you're feeling more comfortable. Again, I'd like you to do letter G on your own. Notice the first equation is in slope-intercept form already, so the second one is the only one you have to rearrange to get y alone, or so that it's in slope-intercept formula. Go ahead, pause the video, try G again. When you're ready, press play, and I'll have the answer displayed for you. Okay, letter H I want us to come back and do together. The sum of two numbers is 8. The difference of these numbers is 2. Write and solve a system of equations graphically. Okay, so this goes back again to Unit 3 when we did the coin problems, and we said, in my pocket I have 47 cents, and in there are 20 coins, and there are twice as many pennies as nickels. Again, I just made that problem up, but remember when we did those. This is the same thing, except for we're now working with two different variables. So instead of manipulating let x equal the number of dimes and let 2x equal be the number of pennies, you can use x and y. So if we're looking for the sum of two numbers is 8, well, what are the two numbers? So now you're saying, well, it could be 1 and 7, 2 and 6, 5 and 3, or we could talk about negative 20 and 28. So there's an infinite number of answers here, but we need to find the one true answer. So if we're looking for the sum of two numbers is 8, we just need to find two numbers. So let's say let x equal a number, or the first number, and then let y equal the other number. We can be very simple here. Okay, so now if the sum of those two numbers is 8, what is the sum of x and y? X plus y equals 8. Okay, now the difference of those numbers is 2. So difference is subtract, so x minus y equals 2. So there's our system of equations. So now to solve this graphically, we need to take those and translate those into two equations in the slope-intercept formula. After we do that, we get two brand new equations. Y equals negative x plus 8 and y equals x minus 2. Taking those, again, we can graph them over on our coordinate plane. Again, don't forget, we can lose easy points by not labeling the x and y axis. Okay, go ahead and finish this one on your own. At the very end, your answer should be, you should get where the intersection of those two lines at 5, 3. Now, again, this is a word problem, so our answer can't be an ordered pair. So it says write and solve the systems graphically, but again, what are the two numbers? So your final answer should be, the two numbers are 5 and 3.